Hey everyone, it's Sarah with Paint and Party. Good to see you all today. I am going to show you all how to paint our kids' snowman here that you can see up above my painting. I'm really excited to start doing these online videos for all of you. There'll be much more to come, so stay tuned for lots of exciting videos to come in the next few months. I want to show you a few of the supplies I'm using really quick today, and then I will get started on our painting. The nice thing is I will probably go through this a little bit quicker than you guys will. But the nice thing is you can pause at any time if you need some extra time to finish painting. So always keep that in mind. The paints I'm using today, I've got them all just kind of on a styrofoam plate, but they are Apple Barrel brand from Walmart. These are multi-surface, which means that you can use them on glass or canvas or wood, but you don't have to get the multi-surface. The just regular acrylic is a little bit less expensive, but this one is the outrageous orange. I've got primary blue for the background. I've got candy apple, which is red. Excuse me, which I'm going to actually do a red scarf so you guys can see what that looks like instead of the green. I've got just plain black, and then I've also got just some plain white here. I've got my paintbrushes that if you've painted with me before, you've seen these yellow paintbrushes. There will be a link that you can purchase these. If you want to purchase them from me, they come in a set of 3, so watch for more information on that. But you can also find the link to these paints to purchase through Amazon, or you can also get them at Walmart. So, as well as the canvases, this is an 11 by 14. They have these at the dollar store. You can get them at Michael's, which is where I get them. There's also a link to buy them on Amazon if that's easier for you, okay? All right, so I want you guys to start with a large paintbrush. This is just a 3/4 of an inch wide paintbrush. If you don't have that exact size, it's okay. We're also going to start with our littlest paintbrush. We're going to do a little bit of outlining, and then we're going to use our big brush to fill in the background. Okay, so what I like to do with our snowman here is just outline our 2 circles. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of white paint and a little bit of blue paint, and I'm going to mix them together just to make myself just a really light blue color. Okay, and I do that because if you make a mistake, it's easier to cover up the light blue than it is the dark blue, okay? So we're gonna find the center of our canvas. So right about here, and I want you guys to come in and I want you to make the bottom of your snowman. And the fun part about creating and painting is everybody's is gonna look different in the end, and that is just part of the fun. But I'm just making myself 2 lines here, okay? And then we're gonna make our circle on the top as well, okay? So I want you guys to start at the top of your line, and we're gonna go all the way around and back to that line, okay? All right. And then what I want you guys to do is we're gonna take that big paintbrush that I was just talking about. I want you to put some blue paint on it, just bright blue. And we're gonna start at the top, and we're gonna fill this background in. I want you guys to paint your edges too. See how I painted the edges? Then when you hang it, it'll look blue instead of white, okay? We want to just keep filling this guy in. You can always add a little bit of water to your paint. You don't have to put a whole lot. You don't want it to be drippy. Okay. Now, if you guys can see, I'm getting kind of close to his head here. If you want to use your skinny brush to go around the edges, we've also got a medium-sized brush here. You can also use it to go around the edges. Or if you're feeling brave, you can use your big brush, but just be really careful. Okay. I want to cover all those little white spots. And when we're painting this background, we want to get it covered, but we don't want our paint to be too thick. You don't need it to be drippy. You don't need it to be too thick. So we are just gonna keep going, keep painting until we fill in all around our snowman here. I'm gonna go back to my big brush. If you run out of paint, you can always put a little bit more on your plate or have your mom help you. I like to start with a little bit of paint and then add to it. That way I'm not wasting a lot of paint at the end. I hate to waste paint. Okay. I'm gonna make sure we get this side all the way down. All the way covered. And we're gonna cover this whole top. Even though he's got a black hat, we're gonna go over it with the black, okay? Make our way over here. I'm still using this big paintbrush. Make sure you got all the way along the top. We want to get this edge over here. And I know I'm painting kind of fast, guys, so if you need to pause and catch up, that is a-okay. Adding a little bit more water to my paint here. Makes it go on a little bit more smoothly, but again, we don't want it to be drippy. We don't want to get blue paint dripped in our snowman. That would not be fun. He'd have a blue spill on him. Okay. I'm gonna go back over here and just touch up where I've got some white specks coming through. Always use that little brush. Okay. Now I have my background filled in. We are going to paint the edges on the bottom, but we're going to wait for the sides to dry a little bit so that way we don't get blue paint all over ourselves. I'm going to stick my big brush in the water. I'm going to stick my medium brush in the water and my little brush. I'm going to rinse that little brush out and just kind of dab it on your napkin. I'm going to make sure you have all that blue paint out. And the nice thing, you're home. If you need to go use the kitchen sink or whatever, you can do that. Okay. So guys, we're gonna work on our snowman's nose. We're gonna let this blue paint dry before we do the scarf or the hat, and we wanna work on his nose. So if you guys look at my example up here, it's right in the center of his head, okay? Which everybody's snowman is a little bit different. So if your snowman is smaller than mine, you might want your nose to be a little smaller, okay? But it's just a triangle. Okay, so I want to find the center of my snowman here. I'm using my skinny mini brush, okay? And I'm gonna make a line on this side, and I'm gonna make myself a triangle, okay? And if you push kind of lightly with this skinny brush, it'll make your lines a little better. And I'm just gonna fill the whole thing in with my orange. Okay. We have a carrot nose, okay? Now, I want you guys to rinse that brush out one more time. Okay. Now we're gonna switch to our black paint. We're gonna make our snowman's eyes. Okay, so there's two ways you can do this. You can use the paintbrush with our black paint, or you can use the end of your plastic on your brush, okay? So if you use the plastic, just dip it in the black, and I want you guys to find the center again, and we're gonna come out just kind of above the end of the nose and make yourself a dot, okay? And then we wanna try to make it as even as we can. Right about there. Okay, and then if you need to make them a little larger, you can. If you're using the brush, you can just take the brush and just make it a little bigger. Okay. Okay. Now we want to make sure and wipe that paint off the end of the brush if you used the plastic end. Okay. Now we're going to make our smiley face next. Okay, so this is kind of fun to draw on. You could do a different kind of face if you want. You can make a button mouth. You can do whatever you want. But we're going to do ours just like the example here. So I want to come straight down from my eye, and I'm going to make the corner of his smile there. And I want to come down from this side and make the other corner. Okay, so we're trying to make ourselves some little lines here. And then really lightly with my skinny brush, I'm going to connect my line here. Okay. Thicken it up a little bit. There we go. It's a good day for a snowman painting. We had a little bit of snow today in Indiana, and it's so cold outside. Getting ready for Thanksgiving. Now, if you wanted to do something silly like add a little tongue, you could do that. Okay, make him kind of silly if you want. All right, now we've got 3 buttons down here below the scarf. So you want to make sure and leave enough room for the scarf. Okay, and I'm just gonna come straight down from my nose, and you can use your brush again, or you can use your end like we did before. However you want to do it with our black paint. These are about the same size of the eyes. You can make them a little larger if you want. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, and 3. All right, there we go. right, guys, so our next step is going to be our hat. Okay, so if you look at the shape of the hat, we've got a rectangle on top, and then we've got a really long rectangle on the bottom. Okay, so everybody's snowmen are a little bit different shape. So you might need to make yours a little smaller, or if you have a lot of room, you could make it a little larger. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to come out from the side of his head about the same on each side. So I'm going to make a line. And I'm just using my skinny brush again. Okay. And we're going to make another line on top. So we're going to have a rectangle. And I'm going to try to make it about the same distance on each side. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to fill it in with my black paint. You can use your skinny brush if you want to get out your medium-sized brush that we had the blue on. Just make sure you get all that water out. You don't want it to be dripping with water. And like I said, we don't want that black to drip down. So you can use this brush to fill that in. It's a little quicker. Okay. Awesome. So there we have the bottom of our hat. Okay. I think on mine I need to make this in just a little bit longer. Okay. Right. Now we're going to do the top. Okay, so I'm going to come just outside of the edge of his head to make this top. And I'm going to go all the way to the top of my canvas. Now if yours is a little bit different from mine, you can make it down a little further. You can make your hat however you want. Okay. And just fill this guy in. Here we go. Now we have a hat on our snowman, and you guys can tell that mine is different here than it is there. And that's just part of the fun of being creative. You can make it different every time. Okay? Now I'm going to put my medium-sized brush in the water and rinse it out. Okay. All right. Now, I want you guys to use the end of your brush. I'm just going to use the end of this medium brush because I just rinsed it. Okay, and we're going to use our white paint, and we're going to make some snowflakes around our snowman. Okay, so if you can see up close there, we've got some snowflakes. All right, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to do the scarf last. Okay. All right, so I've got white paint on the end, and I'm just going to go and I'm going to dab my little snowflakes. You can put as many or as little as you want. You don't want it to look like a total snowstorm. But we'll put a few, and they don't have to be the exact same size, because all snowflakes are different, right? Okay. We've got snow now. Okay. So we're going to wipe that white paint off so we don't get it everywhere. All right, and we are going to work on our snowman scarf. Okay, so I used green on the example, which you can use green. It's just that same brand, the apple barrel green. But I'm going to do red so you guys can see what it looks like with the red. Okay, so I'm using this medium-sized brush again. And the size of our brush is about how thick we want the scarf to be. Unless your snowman is really little, then I would recommend using your skinny brush to do your scarf, okay? But what I want to do is I want to hold my brush like this, so I've got it flat ways, okay? And we want to start right at where our two circles meet. Okay, and I'm gonna make a line that just goes across. Okay, all the way over. Now it looks like my blue is just a little bit wet still. So it's kind of pulling some of that over. So what we want to do is we want to let that dry really well. And then we're going to do a second coat. Red always takes 2 coats anyway. So we need to let that dry a little bit. While that's drying, I'm going to make my other part of my scarf that's just kind of hanging down. So I'm going to turn my brush to where it's like this. And I want to start at the end here. And I don't really want to make it, you can make a straight line, but I made mine so it was just a little bit curved. Thicken that up a little bit. Just kind of make that so it's hanging down on our snowman. Okay. Now, a little tip I want to tell you guys, if you make any mistakes, which I'm sure none of you did, but you'll notice we didn't put any white on the snowman. Okay, so if you're thinking, oh, I don't like my scarf and I want to cover it up with white, you can try to do that. It won't cover it up completely, but you could always use a hairdryer to make it dry, or wait until it's really dry to cover things up. Okay, that makes it a lot easier to cover up, because if you do it now, red and white make pink, or green and white make a really light green. So you don't want to have a pink snowman, okay? So the best thing to do is to let everything dry, okay? But I always say, take a step back, look at it from a few feet away, and it might look a little bit better and you may like it the way it is, okay? All right, so I'm gonna add a little bit more of this red paint on there. Okay. And I think my snowman might also be cute with some red polka dots on his hat. Okay, so I've got some red paint left here. So I am going to put some red paint on the end of my brush. And I'm going to add some polka dots to my hat. Super cute. So you guys can see that up close a little bit there. Okay. All right, so while I'm letting that scarf dry a little bit before I put another layer on, I want you guys to paint the bottom of your canvas, okay? So the best way to do that is just to kind of flip it on its side. Okay. And I'm gonna take my big paintbrush out again, dab it on my napkin. I'm gonna use my blue paint again. And you guys can see, we don't wanna paint where our snowman is. We just wanna paint the bottom, where the blue is, okay? And while you guys have your canvas up and moved around, you can check all your sides, make sure you got all of them painted. All right. Okay, and if you need to touch up any of your blue, you can do that while you have the blue on your brush. Okay. Now we want to give that a couple minutes to dry before we flip it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more red on my brush and just make my scarf a little bit more bold. Or if you liked it without the second coat, that's fine too. Okay. All right. Put them right side up here. And if you guys are curious about my easel as well, I will put a link to where I get these easels. They're about $10 from a website that I use called Dick Blick Art Supplies. You can also get them at Michael's. I wouldn't recommend buying them full price. I would do use the Michael's app and do a coupon. But I really like the Dick Blick website. It really fast shipping, really quick. You can also just lay this flat on the table. And like put a smock of some sort over you. I do buy my aprons on Amazon as well, but they're in packages of 12, so I doubt anybody wants those. But the Dollar Tree has some kids aprons as well. They do have some adult size aprons at Walmart that I love. They're in with the like cooking supplies and with the tablecloths, I believe. That's the aprons that I use when I teach. I love them. They're under $10. They're great. So, and they also have a pocket you can put your stuff down in. So those are great as well. So that is the end of our painting, guys. I do want you to make sure and check all the sides. Make sure you didn't miss any of the sides of your painting. If there's anything you guys need to rewind or anything, that's the cool part of painting at home and these online paintings. If you need to take a break in the middle or whatnot, if you want to sign your painting, you can use your skinny brush and just do your initials at the bottom. I'm going to put SW for Sarah Weeder. Okay. So like I said, if you have any questions about the painting today, about the supplies that I do, please do not hesitate to email me directly. You can find my email address on my website. It's just the info at paintandpartyindy.com. I'm really looking forward to painting with more of you at home. If you had fun, please go to my Facebook page, write a review, share with your friends, let them know that they can paint at home with me now. If you need help with getting supplies, email me, send me a Facebook message. I would love to help you guys in any way that I can. So again, let me know if you guys have any questions or if you need anything, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.